The alert came on a Tuesday. Bony sat in the dim sitting room, ceiling fan clicking overhead, and watched the numbers appear on his phone screen like a miracle he hadn't earned. 2 million naira. Clean. Whole. Wired from abroad by his wife Stella with the same note she always sent, for the house and your needs. He locked the door before he smiled. Stella had left 3 years ago with one suitcase and a promise that weighed more than anything she carried. She'd taken a care assistant job overseas, night shifts, cold corridors, strangers' bodies to clean and lift and comfort. Every naira she sent home was a piece of herself converted to currency. She calculated in her head, this transfer is 12 bags of cement. This one is the kitchen tiles. This one keeps the children fed and in school while her husband finishes what they started together. She trusted him completely. That was her first mistake. Bony had meant well at the beginning. He paid fees on time. Sent photos of receipts. Made Stella laugh on calls with his voice notes. He missed her, or at least he missed feeling like a man who mattered to someone nearby. But loneliness doesn't arrive like a storm. It seeps in like groundwater, slow and invisible, until the floor gives way. He found Kemi at a roadside bar. She sold cold drinks and warm attention. She called him Ogre Bony in a tone that mixed respect with something more dangerous. She listened. She touched his arm when she laughed. She made him feel, for the first time in years, like he wasn't waiting for his own life to begin. He bought her a phone with Stella's money. A small thing, he told himself. From small things, catastrophes are built. Over the following months, the unfinished duplex at the edge of town kept its exposed wires and naked walls while Bony quietly rented Kemi an apartment. He furnished it modestly, then comfortably. He delayed the house project with excuses that sounded reasonable over a phone call. He invested in nothing except the fiction that he was managing everything fine. When Stella noticed the changes, fees coming late, photos stopping, video calls avoided, Bony turned the questions back on her. Do you think money management is easy? She cried alone in her small foreign room, holding her phone, and chose to believe him because suspicion is exhausting when you're already working double shifts just to survive. Then Kemi looked at him one evening with folded hands and serious eyes. How long will I be hiding? The word hiding bothered him less than the word that followed it. She wanted stability. She wanted respect. And something inside Bony, that fractured, lonesome thing, heard that word and decided it was permission. He paid bride price with money that arrived from abroad 2 days earlier. Stella's night shifts became palm wine and envelopes at a traditional ceremony where Kemi wore a bright wrapper, and Bony stood tall, feeling restored to something he hadn't earned. That same night, Stella called. He didn't pick up. He texted later. Network issues. She replied with a tired heart emoji and said she missed home. The truth arrived the way it always does, through someone who didn't know what silence cost. A photo on social media. Kemi and Bony at a naming ceremony, tagged casually by someone at the edge of the crowd. Stella saw it during her break, hands trembling, the room contracting around her. She called. He didn't answer. She called again. By morning, something in her had shifted, not to anger, but to something colder and far more dangerous. Clarity. When Bony woke up to silence instead of a credit alert, he told himself she was bluffing. Stella had always been emotional. She would cool down. She needed him as much as he needed her money. That thought, comfortable and poisonous, was the last lie he would believe easily. Her messages came measured, precise. I have pictures. I have names. I have dates. He responded with fury, his old shield. It shattered against her calm. Her final reply arrived after a long pause. Then be alone with your choices. Days without money turned into weeks. School fees went unpaid. Kemi's landlord called repeatedly. Friends lent small amounts, then stopped picking up. Kemi herself grew cold. Pressure does not pay bills, she told him flatly, hand on a belly he had stopped questioning. Stella came home without warning. She walked through the unfinished house and didn't say a word, just touched the bare walls, traced the exposed wires with her eyes, counted her losses in silence. When Kemi arrived that afternoon, chin raised, announcing herself as his wife, Stella turned slowly. "You married a man who was already married. Whatever you think you own here, I paid for it. The police came that night. Fraud. Domestic deception." The cold station bench, the officers who had heard this story in 100 different voices, it stripped Bony of his last illusion. Stella didn't come to beg for his release. She went home, put the children to bed, and prayed, not for endurance this time, but for justice. His elder brother paid the bail. "You disgraced us," Tunde said quietly on the drive home. "Not because you fell. Because you lied while falling." Before we continue, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and like button right there on your screen to get more gripping stories like this. Shall we continue? Bony lost his job. The court ordered repayment. Kemi's marriage was declared invalid. She screamed, wept, then left, taking nothing but pride and unanswered questions. Stella stayed. She finished the house. She enrolled the children in counseling. She never spoke badly of their father, but she didn't shield him from consequences either. Months later, Bony stood at the gate, thinner, smaller, kneeling to greet his children. "Daddy made mistakes," he told them. Ben nodded, older than his years. "Mommy says mistakes have prices." Before Stella returned abroad, Bony asked to speak with her alone. "I'm sorry," he said, voice cracking. "Not because I was caught. Because I destroyed what loved me." Stella studied him for a long moment. "I forgave you long ago," she said quietly. "But forgiveness is not restoration." The words settled like the final stone laid on something that once had promise. Sometimes karma doesn't arrive loudly. It simply waits, and when it comes, it takes exactly what you convinced yourself you could steal without consequence.